Okay, guys, let's try this again. We're here to talk about WrestleMania 40, the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania XL, a new era in the world of professional wrestling and a new era in the WWE because this era is the first era that is Vince McMahon free. No Vince McMahon. No Vince McMahon, and that's how the show starts off. Just a cold open with Triple H, first Coco Jones, a Grammy Award winning singer and former Disney Channel artist. She sings America the Beautiful. And it was a beautiful performance showing all the troops and whatever. And then Triple H comes out. He's announced as Triple H, Paul Triple H Levesque, obviously in his business capacity. And he says this is a new era in the WWE. Basically, wiping clean uh, Vince McMahon, wiping clean the era of sports entertainment. Because throughout the lead up to WrestleMania and throughout the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, especially Paul Heyman's, the forbidden word of professional wrestling was being used. So obviously, what they used to call sports entertainment, the Vince McMahon brand, is no more. Now we're on to sports entertainment. I mean, we're on to professional wrestling and moving away from sports entertainment. So, pardon me, guys, still getting over this cold. And then Rhea Ripley comes out. The band that's performing Rhea Ripley's music, the guy looks just like Rhea Ripley. I thought it really well. I thought it really was her. No, she comes out. She looking sexy as fuck, ready to take take on Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch's outfit had some sort of writing, a big ass book on stage, uh, with her newest book. It was a pretty good match, back and forth action. Finally, uh, Rhea Ripley did the riptide from the top rope, rolled her up, and Rhea Ripley retains. Now you had the tag team match. The tag team match, it was New Day. It was a bunch of other teams. A Town Down. It was Awesome Truth, and it was Judgment Day, and it was the other guy's name escapes me, but whatever. These guys, a double tag team ladder match. And our Truth finally had his WrestleMania moment after being perceived as a joke for years and years when he finally returned to the WWE in 2009. Because remember, he was in the WWE in the early 2000s, teaming with Road Dogg as K Quick. Then he went to TNA and became the NWA Heavyweight Champion. And then he came back to WWE around the time of WrestleMania 25, and he really wasn't doing anything, and he was really entertaining in like 2011 when he was teaming with The Miz at first, and he had The Rock's comeback match with The Rock and John Cena versus him and The Miz in Madison Square Garden at that year's Survivor Series, but he was just a joke champion with the 24/7 championship and everything. Nobody was taking him serious. So, but he had his moment. He had a moment like like basically Zack Ryder had at WrestleMania 32, where he got he got him in the ladder match, and the awesome Truth are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. This match was crazy. R-Truth did the five knuckle shuffle. He did the attitude adjustment. A ladder broke. Uh, they paid homage to DX in the match. It was pretty cool. You know what I mean? I popped for R-Truth winning. Now we get to skipping around a little bit, but now we get to the worst match of the night. The worst match of the night was the Usos match. Terrible match. The Usos have no chemistry as opponents. They work as a tag team. Most of what they did was tag team wrestling. They super kicked each other a bunch of times, and they didn't even look like they really wanted to be in that match. It was just forced upon them. They tried to make it like it was this big gravitas thing, like it was Owen and Brett. Everybody's always chasing that Owen and Brett opener from WrestleMania 10. It wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same dynamic. It's not the same thing because Owen and Brett were a younger brother and an older brother. These guys are twins. You know what I mean? It doesn't, and I know in mythology and in the Bible, like Romulus and Remus, or Jacob and Esau, or even Cain and Abel, yeah, they're twins too. But the problem is the mechanics of it. Jay and Jimmy are not good singles wrestlers. Most of the moves they do are tag team type things. So this match just didn't work for me. You know what I mean? In my opinion. The three-way tag team match of Damage Control. This match I want to mention too. The three-way tag team match of Damage Control versus Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. Man, Bianca Belair and Naomi looked amazing. Man, they was the true baddies of WWE. Of WWE, to be honest with you guys, man. Jade Cargill's Jade Cargill's body on fire. You know what I mean? She's going places. All six women look fine, to be honest with you. It was like an Asian versus black thing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what they were going for. But all three sisters, man, they look good and they scored the win. And they featured Jade Cargill. They featured Jade Cargill really well. You know what I mean? She's really going places in WWE. That's really a dream match, her and Bianca Belair. But like I said, you gotta wait a while because Jade Cargill's still new to the scene. She just came into the company, a couple months ago at the Royal Rumble. So anyway, that was the Dominic Mysterio teaming with Santos Escobar versus his father and Andrade. It was nice to see Andrade back in the WWE ring where I feel he belongs. AEW was never really for him. Just like with Keith Lee, I think he might be coming back. Keith Lee was at the Hall of Fame, so he might be coming back to AEW. AEW just seems like it's falling apart. Like nobody's really doing shit really with it. But this match was a little confusing to me because when you had Jason Kelsey and the other guy from the Philadelphia Eagles come out and interfere with Lucha Mask, they interfered on behalf of Rey Mysterio and the LWO. It's like Rey Mysterio and the LWO, they're good guys. Why would they need interference? Anyway, why would they need interference? You know, you know what I'm saying? They're good guys. They don't need they don't need football players to come out and help them. It didn't really make any sense. Anyway, getting to the main event of the evening. Well, okay, the Sami Zayn Gunther match. Sami Zayn and Gunther was obviously a thrown together match because the match people really wanted to see was Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. But we know what happened to Brock Lesnar. He was canceled because he was named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. So he's out of the WWE. So obviously they built it around Chad Chad Gable being the the Mickey Goldman the Mickey Goldmill of this, and being a Rocky type storyline with Gunther as a foreigner, not Russian but German, and yet they show people in Berlin cheering for Gunther, cheering him on, that he would win, and Sami Zayn with his wife. And each time Gunther was beating down Sami Zayn, he was going over to Sami Zayn's wife, taunting her like Adrian, Adrian. And at a certain point, I thought maybe his wife might throw in the towel. Maybe they'll do Brett Nolan Survivor Series '94 type finish, but they didn't. You have a new Intercontinental Champion, and that is Sami Zayn. It was a pretty good storyline. Sami Zayn is the ultimate underdog, plays the ultimate underdog all the time. And in a way, I said it was like World War One relived all over again, because somebody pointed out to me is that Gunther is not a Nazi. He's a German socialist, like pre-Nazi. You know what I'm saying? Like world World War One Kaiser partisan. And obviously Germany, although an ally of the Ottoman Empire during World War One, was still technically the Syrians and other Arabs that Sami Zayn is a part of were rebelling against the Ottoman Empire and rebelling against the Central Powers and siding with the British during World War One. So that's the way I looked at it. But most people look at it just like a Rocky storyline. But anyway, congratulations to Sami Zayn. He's always been one of my favorites. I'm glad he got his flowers on this stage. Um, now we get now we get to the main event. The main event is the main event of the evening was, of course, The Rock and Roman Reigns taking on as the Bloodline. The Rock, the final boss, and Roman Reigns the tribal chief, going up against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Once again, Seth Rollins' wardrobe off the chain. Like shit shit that a transgender, a transsexual, or a trans person, whatever you want to call it, would wear. You know what I'm saying? Just like Roman said. The Rock comes out and Cody Rhodes' typical entrance. He hands his weight belt to his father-in-law, Brandy's father. His mother is seated at the front row. She'll play a role in the match later. The Rock comes out with the People's Championship, a fake championship. It was a championship with the Brahma Bull logo on it, presented to him by Muhammad Ali's wife. Of course, we know that Muhammad Ali went into the WWE Hall of Fame last couple of days ago, like not yesterday, but the night before, and she talked about The Rock when The Rock approached her in 1998 to use the moniker the People's Champ, something that Muhammad Ali had also called himself. And Ali said, "Go ahead." So, although The Rock didn't induct Muhammad, Undertaker did, which was a weird choice. A really weird choice, but I don't know. I guess they figure like the Undertaker's the greatest in WWE, and Muhammad's the greatest in boxing. I don't know. So, she she presents him with this title. Now they're booing The Rock throughout the Hall of Fame ceremony as he's getting the title. So at WrestleMania, he comes out. They have the tag team match. Of course, Roman Reigns comes out with the WWE Universal Championship, so that it's like they have two titles. It's kind of cool in a way, even though The Rock's title's not a WWE sanctioned title. It's like it's the visual that I wanted. Them both having championships. Like I wanted them to beat Judgment Day and become tag team champions, but that didn't happen. So with this, I got really what I wanted. I got satiated and satisfied because you got to see the final boss and the tribal chief come out with championships. Anyway, it's a wild match. At one point, Rock drops the F bomb. He tells the referee, "You do what the fuck I want." And in the beginning, like they had the camera angles were different. Like the camera angles were in the ring, like they are in UFC fights, as opposed to outside the ring, like they usually are in WWE matches. So, like where you could hear everything. And The Rock is dropping F bombs here, he's dropping F bombs there, he's whipping Cody Rhodes with the weight belt. He says, "See this blood? This your son's blood." He goes over to Cody Rhodes' mom. He says, "See this? This your son's blood. And next is your tears. Next is your tears." And then Cody Rhodes' mom, shut up with your bullshit. Bullshit, Rock. You know what I mean? Bullshit. And it's a wild weekend because at Paul Heyman's induction speech in the beginning in the live feed, he said, "If you think that ECW died in the corner of that ECW died in a bankruptcy court in 2001, you could suck my fucking dick." Of course, they bleeped it, but still, over these past few months, they've been using language that Vince McMahon would have never allowed them to use had he been there. So the coolest um, move of the night was The Rock with the People's Elbow, and Cody transitions into the Cody Cutter. And basically, Seth Rollins is getting beat down the whole. They're both getting beat down. Roman is doing the little 2 or 3 moves that Roman knows how to do. The Rock is doing his best. They're not really doing much. They're just, the story of the match is they're just dominating Cody and Seth. And Rock beats him with a People's Elbow cleanly. No interference. There was a spot where Roman does a spear and he accidentally hits The Rock. So obviously, what's that tell you? That's planting the seeds for not only tomorrow night, not only tonight, with a singles match, but next year. Because when they announced WrestleMania in Vegas in a commercial, they showed the Vegas press conference where it was supposed to, the Vegas press conference where they were supposed to announce Roman and The Rock. So, all in all, the things I like from this WrestleMania, Black Girl Magic was tremendous. Like I said, they should call that faction that. Black Girl Magic, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. They were good. They were tremendous. Uh, the tag team ladder match was better than I expected. Rhea Ripley's match was good. She did a Becky Lynch was going to do a transition off the top rope with something with Rhea, but then Rhea reversed it into the Riptide. I don't know what Becky Lynch was going to do. They said the whole story of the match was like Becky Lynch was running a fever and everything. So even though she lost, like she got off easy. And the, the Rock and Roman Reigns won, as I predicted they would. So now we go on to Bloodline rules. Bloodline Bloodline rules. Bloodline rules is basically anything goes. Anybody can show up. There's rumors Stone Cold Steve Austin is in talks with WWE, which would make sense because he and The Rock had their first in their trilogy in Philly at WrestleMania 15, and he's The Rock's greatest rival. John Cena would also make a lot of sense since he has history with The Rock. The Rock technically wrestled his last WrestleMania match. Throughout the night, the announcers kept saying, Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee kept saying, "Oh, The Rock's last match was at WrestleMania 32 against Eric Rowan. It was an impromptu match against Eric Rowan." And I'm just like, no, his last match was at MetLife Stadium in WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 29 with Rock Cena 2. And him and Cena broke all kinds of records. And of course, Roman and Cena have history from SummerSlam 2021. So Cena could show up. Hulk Hogan could show up because they have history from WrestleMania 18 and No Way Out 2003. anybody, though Triple H could interfere somehow. I know. I, I know Triple H can't do much, you know, because of because of his heart issues, but he can do a little something, maybe a pedigree or whatever, uh, to Rocky. But whatever is going down, obviously, I believe that will emerge tomorrow with a new WWE Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes, and a new era beginning, and the start of the Roman Reigns versus Rock feud. But I will hold it off until, like, I would do Cody versus The Rock first at SummerSlam or one of the big Saudi Arabia PLEs, and then I would hold and we'll do Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, they announced on the commercial the WWE Experience, a WWE theme park in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, featuring WWE history. Obviously, Vince McMahon, when he was still around at the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight a while back, when he was there with Undertaker sitting next to Eminem and everything before the allegations, he said that Saudi Arabia is the new home of the WWE, is the place, which is an insult to New York, because New York truly is the home of the WWE, the Northeast, the tri-state area. It's truly the home of the WWE. It's it's the home of Vince McMahon Sr.'s territory, his biggest arena, his biggest fan base, the Northeast entirely. You know, especially that WWF era. Before that, you can make the argument that maybe Washington D.C. was in the Capital Sports era, but from WWF to WWF to WWE, New York was technically the home of the WWE. So to make Saudi Arabia a place that doesn't even have a tradition of professional wrestling in it, and a place that is corrupt, a place that is just as corrupt, just as corrupt and just as tyrannical as Iran, who we rail against in the United States government, the home of WWE, is crazy. And to build a theme park there where most fans can't and won't go. I mean, Saudi Arabia, the government of Saudi Arabia makes a hell of a shit ton of money during Hajj season already with devout Muslims, going to the sacred holy sites of Mecca and Medina. So, and like they don't need a pilgrimage site for WWE fans too. You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do? Build the Hall of Fame in Riyadh? You know, it's just disgusting that even under the management of Area Manual, and even under the management of the Endeavor TKO people, they're still selling out to Saudi Arabia. They still love that sweet Saudi money, and UFC does too. That's why it's part of the reason of the merger. So it's whatever with that. But yeah, we go on to night two. Night two is what everyone is looking forward to. Basically, is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 2, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a triple threat match with a U.S. Championship. Io Sky versus Bayley. Um, for the Women's Championship. And that's pretty much it. And of course, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. My prediction for that is that Drew McIntyre probably will lose because And if Drew McIntyre wins and the title changes hands, the World Heavyweight title changes hands, then Cody will lose the WWE Championship because I can't see two titles changing hands on one event. And plus, uh, you still want to build to it's this feud with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins is kind of weird because it was supposed to be, of course, Seth Rollins and CM Punk. That was the original plan of it before CM Punk's injury. So they're still involving CM Punk in a lot of ways in this storyline without him actually being there. You know what I mean? Because CM Punk is like one of the highest draws in the company right now. You know what I mean? Since he came back at Survivor Series. So you have to involve him somehow. So I think it goes on until CM Punk can actually come back, and then CM Punk can, and then finally, on a later date, Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre can defeat Seth at a later date, and then it can be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, and they can start to really build that division other than just Seth Rollins. But we gotta see. So everybody's paying attention to what The Rock is going to do, who's going to show up, what's going to go down. We got to see. Roman has had an incredible streak at WrestleMania these past years since 2021. He's stacked up Edge and Daniel Bryan. He beat Brock Lesnar to unify the championships. He beat Cody Rhodes. Last year, just barely by the skin of his teeth with Solo interfering. But now Solo can interfere legally. So, Bloodline rules. Let's see, it was a pretty good night one, but honestly, the highlights, the six women's tag match was the best match. The night for me, the ladder match, and Sami Zayn versus Gunther. The main event, it was a typical Rock match, you know what I mean? Rock, he even at his height, he wasn't a great wrestler. You know what I mean? He was good on the mic, but in the ring, he wasn't all that. You know, now that he's older, he can do even less. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, last time he wrestled John Cena in a one-on-one match, he got injured. That's why we never got Rock versus Brock 2 in 2013. So anyway, you guys see what happens, guys. Love you. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to see my next videos coming out. Love you.